when my life doesn't really matter to someone else simply because of my skin tone, it hurts. It truly hurts. So the fact that everyone is here today, thank you. The fact that you clap as loudly as possible when I came out, thank you, because my life matters to me. The fact that I'm alive matters to me. The fact that I haven't been felt as if I'm nothing because I'm black, because I'm dark, that matters to me. Because just like I will always care about someone who is of a different race, background, and whatnot, I hope one day, not just for a Black History Month, not just when the next African American or biracial individual enters the White House, I just hope that year-round, my life matters to everyone else as well.
We're going to be doing the Black Lives Matters series today. If you guys didn't know, this is Black History Month, so we're going to be hearing a couple different narratives and stories about what that means to some of the people of our staff. Typically, our Matter Speak series would be about this size on the stage with the brides are set up like this. So this is a lot bigger than we're used to, which is awesome, so woo! All right. Also, just while you're sitting and reflecting, make sure you think about what it means for these people and what Black Lives Matters means to you, as well as what Black History Month means to you. All right, enjoy.
Nightflight. Path black with debris, an eerie breeze, and a green canopy so dense Luna can't see the sojourners. Traveling like locomotives on tracks made of strangers with brave souls and a conscience, creeping, crouching, crawling, one after the other, on their way to another place. Hearts pacing, thoughts racing, fears of dogs chasing, and punishments they'll be facing if caught, but nevertheless continuing on. Wanting so badly to be released from the shackles of inequity and oppression, wanting a birthright denied at conception, wanting to be the owners of their past and the writers of their futures. They want freedom. A crime at this time if your hair is not fine and your skin is as fair as a new moon. When I wrote Nightflight, it came to me on Christmas Day of 2014, and in a similar fashion of many of my other pieces, in blurry, incoherent chunks during a spell of raw emotion and deep thought. Even though I wrote Nightflight 2+ years ago, and since then have read it over many times, it wasn't until last night, cliche, yes I know, that I was able to coherently put into words the reasons I wrote this poem and why I felt, and why I still feel, that it commutes a message that is relevant today. Nightflight uses imagery and dysrhythmic rhymes to convey what I imagine would be the emotionally jarring scene of slaves who, despite all odds, rightfully challenged and successfully overthrew a way of life they knew was wrong. If you allow me to get a bit Englishy, this short, but if I do say so myself, powerful piece can be broken down into several distinct parts. 1, the cause. Black people were living in a society that justified their oppression based on incorrect, unfounded, or unimportant assumptions about them. Wanting to end slavery was not about removing white people from the picture. It was about seeing themselves in it. 2, there was an action. Black people rebelled, they ran, they helped other slaves run, and they had help from people with power. When people continually work together to dismantle oppression, whether its form be physical or institutional, it ensures a society in which no one group can be discriminated against on the basis of their age, ability, race, ethnicity, religion, gender, or sexuality. 3, there was an outcome. Slaves wanted a better life for themselves and their families, and it didn't matter that it took hundreds of years to get that. They could not always see every step of the journey, but they envisioned a future that was worth fighting for. While Black slaves were treated in unimaginably inhumane ways, they were incredibly resilient people who endured much. Those who fought did so at a risk, but one they felt was worth it. Abolitionism, the Civil Rights Movement, the Black Panther Party, all have channeled the fierce passion and resiliency of our ancestors. You can view this latest movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, through a similar lens. It has a cause. its followers, I, do not seek to diminish the value of any other group of people, but simply to demand that my group be valued at all. It's not about removing white people from the picture. It's about seeing ourselves in it. 2, there's action. The Black Lives Matter movement demands change, accountability, proactivity in the place of retroactivity. And it calls upon our legislators, community officials, schools, and loved ones to do their part to make it happen. And 3, we hope that there is an outcome. We hope that there is some amount of positive change. I hope that today you can not only come to understand the movement, to value what it does and what it represents for both the Black community and America as a whole. I hope that whether you find yourself amongst or alongside it, you find your own unique way to support and encourage this incredibly courageous group of people.
Black history matters. History is made up of an interconnected web of narratives, of stories. Traditionally in this country, we've been presented with one narrative, with one story, focused on one group of people. But there's no such thing as a singular narrative. Real history is a collection of narratives, a collection of stories that should be looked at together. Too often in our country, Black history has been hidden or ignored. Black history that is included is often oversimplified. Slowly, Black history, real, complex Black history, is being added to the traditional narrative. Black people are being recognized as people who have made history rather than people that history has happened to. For example, just up behind Tufts University stands the Royal House, a historic house you can tour. Tours used to focus on the Georgian architecture and the lives of the loyalist royal family that lived there. But thanks to recent research by a BU professor, the tour now focuses on the lives of the slaves that lived there. The property features the only standing slave quarters left in Massachusetts. Take a tour there, and you can learn about the workday of slaves, the games they might have played, the food and drink they might have consumed. At the Royal House and Slave Quarters, you can follow the story of Belinda Sutton. Belinda was a slave at the Royal House, just up there, a mile away. And after the royals fled to England during the Revolution, she was freed, but she had nowhere to go and no one to care for her sick daughter. So she asked the town of Medford to provide her with a pension, money to care for herself and her sick daughter. This narrative, Belinda's story, and the story of slaves living and laboring just up behind Tufts, gives us a more complete history of colonial revolutionary Massachusetts, of the expectations people had of their government and of each other. Here at Somerville High School in your world history classes, you learn about European imperialism and how in 1884 Europe carved up most of Africa and the impact of that action. We are working to make this piece of history more complete by adding more narratives. You will hopefully learn about the thousands of different thriving African cultures that existed before colonization, about the resistance to European imperialism, and how Africans, Black, white, and Arab, organized to resist imperialism and win their independence. We're working to include stories like that of Queen Nzinga of the Mbundu people, who lived in what is now Angola in the 1600s. She led resistance to the Portuguese slave traders and imperialists by artful diplomacy and active rebellion. Once, when the Portuguese tried to make her feel inferior by refusing her a seat at the negotiating table, she claimed her equality and worthiness by sitting on the back of one of her servants for the entirety of a meeting. Queen Nzinga was also a highly skilled warrior. She successfully led 30 years of armed resistance against the Portuguese, and even at the age of 67, led her people into battle. The story of Queen Nzinga and other African leaders make the story of imperialism more complete. Maybe some of you have seen the movie Hidden Figures that's out in the theaters right now. I saw it last week and I read the book. Okay, I skimmed the book. The movie and the book are most definitely about providing a fuller, more complete history. Until this book and movie came out, people didn't know about the hundreds of Black women, many of them former math teachers, whose brains, talent, and hard work helped propel the first US astronauts into space. Though these women managed to make a living and contribute to an extraordinary American achievement, it took 60+ years for them to get any recognition. Black women mathematicians in the 1950s and 60s working for NASA, this story, this true story, did not fit with the one singular traditional narrative that we've had about African Americans or American achievement. But now the stories are changing our understanding of history and making it more complete. Providing a more complete narrative, a more accurate history matters. learning about Black history, about Black people as important creators of history, learning about Black people's stories. This matters. These stories impact the way we see others, the way we treat others. These stories impact the way we see ourselves, the expectations we have for ourselves. Our society is changing. It is, in my opinion, improving, but we're not there yet. Flip through your history books and look for Black history. Flip through the TV channels to see the stories told about Black people, both in fictional programs and on the news. Next time you go to the AMC theaters, look at the movie posters and what kind of stories we're telling in our movies. Ask yourself, are there more to these stories? Whose stories aren't being told? To what extent are these stories true? To quote Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, it is important to reject the single narrative, the single story. In her famous TED Talk, she says, "The consequence of the single story is this: it robs people of dignity. It makes our recognition of equal humanity difficult. It emphasizes how we are different rather than how we are similar." The story of Belinda Simmons, now featured at the Royal House and slave quarters. The story of Queen Nzinga, which is featured prominently in the new African American History Museum in Washington, D.C. The story of mathematicians Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, now featured in the movie Hidden Figures. These stories matter because they are helping give us a more complete, more accurate version of history. And they are also restoring people's dignity and helping make the recognition of equal humanity more possible. Black history matters.
Good morning, everyone. Hi. Can we, just make some noise? So, many of you have been to a holiday show. Many of you have seen the musical, and this place can get really loud. So, I'm gonna need some energy. So, can y'all just make some noise? People on stage, can y'all clap? All right, so, thank you. So, we're gonna try this one last time, all right? I'm going to go backstage. When I come out, I want you to lose your mind, clap, as if I said that everyone won the lottery. Go insane, give me a standing ovation, go crazy, all right? Cool. Keep it going! Woo! Folks, thank you so much. The energy that you just gave, I am so excited and happy. The reason why is because I currently live in Wakefield, and the fact that I commuted from Wakefield to Somerville and I didn't get killed, that's amazing. And I'm not saying that as a joke, I'm serious. I'm excited and proud and blessed that I was able to come to work and no one killed me because I was Black. Thank you for the clapping. I'm truly happy that I'm alive. I have a dog at home, I have a fiance, and the fact that I can tell her, hey, your soon-to-be husband came to work alive. Now, why that's amazing is because for me, I'm very grateful. I'm a very grateful person, and I wanted to figure out a way to capture this moment, to explain what this month, what the movement means to me. So I kept a book, and this book was a way for me to just appreciate, to reflect on how much it means that something horrible or negative hasn't happened to me in such a long time. So you don't have to take notes, and if you feel motivated to clap after I say a piece of fact, by all means, I'm totally game for that, all right? So, thank you. All right, wow, there's been a lot that I've been keeping track. Let's see, it's been 4 years since I was last asked if I was ever a slave. Thank you. By the way, these are all true. It's been 21 months since I've been last accused of breaking into a place because someone thought, hey, that black person should not be there. This is awesome. It's been 7 months since I last cried by myself at home because I had to turn on the TV and watch over and over and over a black man, innocent, killed. Thank you. It's been 5 months since I've actually been told that I don't really teach. And that, you know what? I just stopped dancing around like a monkey in the school. Now, this is where the fun picks up. And if you feel uncomfortable clapping, I completely understand. I'm not gonna take any offense because, again, I'm excited, I'm blessed. It's been 3 months, like, very short amount of time, since the last time I heard someone call me the N-word. And not the N-word that you say, hey, what up with the A, because honestly, that doesn't make a difference. I mean, it's been the last time since an adult that I know actually called me nigger. Now these last few ones, I don't want any clapping because I don't want you to miss the message. Like this is all important to me. It's been 2 months, and I know some of you may laugh when I'm about to say, it's been 2 months since, even though I've worked here for 5 years, that people like to mistake me for Mr. Morgan. And even though people laugh and think it's funny, the fact that it hurts that I'm ignored. The fact that as much as I try to be open, I try to connect with people, the fact that my identity does not really matter to many people because it's a joke, he looks like that person, like that was painful. It's been also 2 months that I was last told that even though I announced last year that I was going to become president in 2040, it's been 2 months and someone actually told me and said, you know what, there's a big chance that you won't win because there are going to be a lot of people scared of your middle name because you have an African middle name. And for many people, that's a scary thought for someone in the White House to have that. But I'm talking about, the past several years. I'm going to bring something that's relevant. It's been 24 hours. 24 hours since someone actually told me, Mr. Dua, the way that you walk around, the way that you teach, the way that you conduct yourself, the way that you may laugh, that's too scary. That's too pro-black. It's very offensive simply because we're not used to something like that. Like it's just something off about you standing up there and just talking. Just every December, just come on stage. When the song hits, dance. Now, why I'm so excited is because I'm blessed. It's been a while since many of this, / all of it, has happened to me. And even though I'm up here, I'm energetic, I'm excited everyone is here, there are times that I do cry. There are times that I'm really silent. There are times that I don't want to leave my bed. There are times that even, whether it's in the relationship I have, close friends, families, it's hard. And I'm not saying this as an African American, or just as an African American, or as a black person, or as a teacher. I'm saying this as a human. Because me standing up here, this is not my way of saying, I'm proud to be black and it's awesome black life. No, I'm coming to you all and letting you know that, yes, I am grateful for who I am. I'm grateful for the people around me. I'm grateful for my life. But when I turn on the TV and I see people talking in a negative way about Black death, when I walk around with my dog and my fiance and people roll their eyes because I'm black and she's white, when I am judged by just my enthusiasm and people discount me for my passion, when the N-word is said casually to me and no one flinches, when my life doesn't really matter to someone else simply because of my skin tone, it hurts. It truly hurts. So the fact that everyone is here today, thank you. The fact that you clap as loudly as possible when I came out, thank you, because my life matters to me. The fact that I'm alive matters to me. The fact that I haven't been felt as if I'm nothing because I'm black, because I'm dark, that matters to me. Because just like I will always care about someone who is of a different race, background, and whatnot, I hope one day, not just for a Black History Month, not just when the next African American or biracial individual enters the White House, I just hope that year-round, my life matters to everyone else as well. And lastly, one of the best things that you can do for me right now is when I walk off, don't make any sound, don't clap, because one day, silence for the fact that I'm able to walk away and not be criticized or killed, when there's silence met with that, that's normal. That's what I'm hoping for one day, where me being alive is not a celebration, it's just another day.
I'm going to let you know now that I probably will get emotional. A letter to my daughter. This innocent country set you down in a ghetto in which, in fact, it intended that you should perish. Let me spell out precisely what I mean by that. For the heart of the matter is here, and the crux of my dispute with my country. You were born where you were born, and face the future that you face because you were born black, and for no other reason. The limits to your ambition were thus expected to be settled. You were born into a society which spelled out with brutal clarity, and in as many ways as possible, that you were a worthless human being. You were not expected to aspire to excellence. You were expected to make peace with mediocrity. Wherever you have turned, Peyton, in your short time on this earth, you have been told where you could go and what you could do and how you could do it, where you could live and whom you could marry. I know your countrymen do not agree with me here, and I hear them say, you exaggerate. They do not know Somerville, and I do. So do you. Take no one's word for anything, including mine, but trust your experience. Know whence you came. If you know whence you came, there is really no limit to where you can go. The details and symbols of your life have been deliberately constructed to make you believe what they say about you. Please try to remember that what they believe, as well as what they do and cause you to endure, does not testify to your inferiority, but to their inhumanity and fear. Please try to be clear, dear Peyton, through the storm which rages about your youthful head today, about the reality which lies behind the words acceptance. There is no reason for you to try to become like them, and there is no basis whatever for their impertinent assumption that they must accept you. The really terrible thing, baby girl, is that you must accept them. And I mean that very seriously. You must accept them, and you must accept them with love. For these innocent people have no other hope. They are, in fact, still trapped in a history which they do not understand. And until they understand it, they cannot be released from it. They have had to believe for many years that black people were inferior to white. Many of them know better, but as you will discover, people find it very difficult to act on what they know. But these men are your brothers, your lost brothers. And if the word integration means anything, that is what it means, that we will love, that with love, we shall force our brothers to see themselves as they are, to cease fleeing from reality, and to begin to change it. For this is your home, my child. Do not be driven from it. Great people have done great things here and will again. And we can make America what America must become. This was written in December of 1962 by James Baldwin. It was written to his nephew. The fact that I can interchange nephew with daughter and James for Peyton is a prime example of the fact that history is not in the past, but in the present. The future of the Negro in this country is precisely as dark or as bright as the entire country.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I stand here before you today to talk about why Black History Month is important to me. And the first thing that pops to my mind is bubble. And then I start to think, what bubble do I live in? Well, my bubble is the son of two Southern parents, one from Augusta, one from Nashville, who fled the South because of the injustices and lack of jobs. We came here to Boston, where education was the main focus on their mind, because they knew that with education, you could break or interchange between people's bubbles. I bring up that word bubble because everyone in this auditorium lives in their own individual bubble. Whether you are a suburban, an urban, pseudo-urban, or pseudo-suburban. That bubble is your life, your experiences. It's what helps define who you are. And that bubble is what you fight for, whether it is a two-car garage, a dog, a wife. I've never really understood what 2.3 kids meant, because you can't really have 0.3 kid, but that's your bubble. Or your bubble could be the ghetto, a 2-bedroom apartment shared with 15 people, where you have to have all your clothes on in fear that you may be assaulted during the night. How is it that that suburban bubble will ever understand that urban bubble? Because their life and their experiences are very different. How would I ever know what it's like to live in a $15 million house, flying in a jet anywhere I can at the drop of a dime? How will I know what it's like to ever wear a Scottish kilt and play golf on one of the oldest golf courses in the world? Because that's not my bubble. So I go back to what Black History Month means to me. It means that you and everyone in this room and everyone across the world gets to experience that bubble. Because right now, what's happening in our country is individuals who've never known that bubble are now getting to feel what it's like to be in that bubble. because of what they look like, because of what they talk like, because they come from a distinct area that is deemed unessential by our leaders of our world. And they are receiving some of the same oppressions that my bubble occurred for hundreds of years. And I'd hope to think that their school and their life experiences understood what my bubble was like so that they can be well equipped to handle the injustices that they're going through now. I hope and pray that everyone in this auditorium gets to understand what my bubble is so that they'll never let those injustices occur ever again in life. I hope and pray that in our lifetime that there are no more bubbles and that we all get to experience what is most essential to every human being, and that's life without ever knowing injustice. Thank you.
Hello, thank you. Now, as X Block is coming to a close, typically, if you've ever attended a Matters event, we have time for questions and answers where the performers come back on stage and the audience are able to connect with them based on what they saw and heard. And as much as we would love to have that time, we also still have a school day to continue. But hopefully, after this performance ends, don't let an X Block, a Matter Speaks series event, a Black History Month be the only time that you are inspired, motivated to talk to your teachers, to your friends who are Black, who are not Black, to continue the conversation. Because being able to connect with each other, to empathize, is truly important. That's what makes Somerville, this country, this world, what it is. So please ask questions. Keep on talking. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I know that many of you cannot see me, but what's more important is that you hear me. I'm about to sing for you the song, Strange Fruit. Now, it was first written as a poem by Abel Muirholt and was published in the early 1900s. It was then recorded by Billie Holiday. Now, when it's talking about fruit, it's not talking about apples or oranges. It's talking about people. It's talking about lynching. Now, even though the song never mentions the word lynching, it refers to it. And I think for me personally, I find this song very, very powerful. And it's a little difficult for me to sing because I've told my chorus and members of my class a number of stories about my history being from South Carolina. But this song has a lot of power in that my father, he was not lynched, but he had to leave South Carolina overnight for fear of being lynched. They were looking for him. So I'm going to sing for you now, Strange Fruit. Strange southern trees bearing blood on the leaves and blood at the roots. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees. Eyes and the twisted mouth, scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh, and the southern smell of burning flesh. Here is a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the sun to gather, and the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the trees to drop. Here is a strange and bitter